From the NOLA release, that is Down with Stone the Crow, and kind of makes me hungry for a big old plate of jambalaya.
Nice. It's such a good song, huh?
I love Stone the Crow. I remember hearing that way back in 96.
Sure.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
That album is so great.
It is. It's my favorite Down release.
Sure.
And I play it all the time, and it's just like that's such a, at the time that was such a different side of Phil.
Sure.
Because he was obviously coming off of at the most successful peak of Pantera.
Right.
And he did something that was totally not Pantera.
Yeah, but at the same time heavy.
Very heavy.
Songs like that. I mean, that's a different
Bury
kind
Me
of
in
heavy.
Smoke.
Bury Me in Smoke's a different kind of heavy, but I mean, you still have like Lifer and Temptation's Wings. Those are fucking bruising songs, man. I'm a big fan of Down, man. I'll be honest. That album, if you put all Phil's records together, that record definitely stands above several of the Pantera records for me.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I agree with that.
I think the only Pantera records I like more, and me and you will have different ones, because my number one is always the Great Southern Trendkill.
Well, my number one obviously is
Vulgar.
No.
Cowboys?
No.
Far Beyond Driven?
That's the one.
Really?
That's my favorite.
I do like Use My Third Arm and Slaughtered and those songs. It's great stuff. I mean, I would probably go, if I was listing them all out, I would go Great Southern Trendkill, then I would go probably Far Beyond Driven, then Down, then Vulgar, then Cowboys, then Reinventing the Steel. And to be honest, I'd have other things before Reinventing the Steel.
Yeah, that wasn't their best. 13 Steps to Nowhere.
Hey, that's on my album. 13 Steps is on Great Southern Trendkill.
I didn't like that.
I love it. I love it. No, the Reinventing the Steel was 58. We entered the world cold. I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but I would probably put Down 2 in before Reinventing the Steel. I would probably put the first Superjoint record in front of Reinventing the Steel, because it has that song called Four Songs, which is just great.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Your Enemy, which is also great. You know me, I'm a Phil fan, so
sure.
Yeah, I'm a Philophile.
That's funny, because I was mentioning today. I had read a few of the Facebook posts.
Oh yeah,
from some of the photos that I sent over that you posted up on the Facebook, and a lot of funny comments, very positive comments, couple negative ones, which I just expect.
Sure,
but there were some funny comments in there about, I didn't know Dog the Bounty Hunter was in South Dakota. I love you, Dog.
Oh boy,
And then there was, Neely's cool, and, he rules, and man, he's got rockin' hair, and it's just like, holy shit. And I said, well, I guess there are a few Neely files out there, and they're not all Chrisophiles.
No, they're definitely not. Believe me, there's plenty that hate me too. So.
I just find it funny. I just had to laugh.
See, it's funny because you can almost judge by platform too. On Facebook, I'm way more popular. But on YouTube, they do not like Chris Aiken.
I know. That's funny.
The YouTube people can't fucking stand me.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube, it gets as bad as they're like, man, I wish this guy would die.
Yeah, and you did put out the question, what would you do if you heard Chris Aiken died?
Yeah. People were like, for the most part, they were like, oh, don't die.
Then there'd be no more CMS, and it would be boring if you weren't there.
It would be the classic Dawkins show.
Yeah. Well, if anything happened to myself or Chris, I will guarantee you that the show will come to an end.
Really?
Yeah.
You should replace me.
I didn't replace you in 2.5 years. You were gone.
Yeah, but now that would be different if I was dead.
There's no point in it. It's no point.
If I was dead, you got to replace me.
No, I would just stop doing it.
Maybe the Metal Moose would come and join you.
No, I don't think so. I'd just stop doing it.
Come on.
I wouldn't have any desire to do it. I didn't have any desire to do it when you were gone for 2.5 years, but I just did it to keep it alive.
Yeah.
But if something were to happen like that, God forbid, but I would just end the show. It'd be over.
You would do a tribute show, though, right?
Of course. I'd have to get Brian Badass Boone's people in on this and,
Would you talk about how I earned my wings?
Yeah, you're up there earning your wings, playing your Golden Gibson.
No, it would be drums.
Yeah. You got to be buried in Potter's Field.
Right.
I'll never forget that. That was one of the funniest shows we ever did.
Brian Badass Boone's.
Yes.
It was so morbid, but so fucking funny.
It was so funny because that girl was just, he's up there burning his wings and blah, blah.
His metal wings. You're missing it. His metal wings.
Oh, my God.
And they played that fucking, the Scottish bagpipe thing leading in, and then just did the bad edit where they just turned it off and she starts talking.
Well, she played the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah. But I just remember the first comment you had out of this was, what kind of tribute is this with that production?
It's terrible.
You were like, that's horrible.
Brian Badass Boone.
Yeah, rest in peace, Brian.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, what do you got for us? What is this before we even get into this? What are we playing here?
Okay. Well, as you know, we have a sideshow.
Sure.
And not just a sideshow that is this show, but an actual show we do on the side.
Yeah, it's Jim Rose Circus.
Yeah, exactly. We have a show on Uncontrolled Noise called Inside the CMS Studio.
Right.
And on that show, it airs Mondays at 1 Eastern and Thursdays at whatever. Corey can tell you in the chat room because I don't fucking know.
Well, speaking of that, before you get into this,
all right.
I noticed that there was a comment on the Jeff Tate interview.
Yeah.
How painful it was to listen. And now that it's already been played and people have heard it and all that other stuff.
To you or to Jeff?
No. It was on the Facebook.
Okay. I didn't see it.
There was a comment that said, this is so painful to listen to. I think either Brian Waymeyer or our guys over there in Philadelphia, they made the comment.
Okay.
He said, Neely asked a lot of great questions, and Jeff just gave some really strange answers.
Okay.
This was really painful to listen to. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you're listening, Patrick DeLeese, I think he made the comment. Okay. It was a painful interview. I had a 20-year relationship with Jeff. He's been on the show, the most frequent guest on the show.
Yeah.
And I was trying to talk to him about his Operation Mindcrime, the second release in his trilogy. Uh-huh. And I was trying to get him to talk about it. And he just was like spacing off and just all over the place. And it was just like, wow, this was like tough. This was like pulling teeth, And I told you that. I said, Jeff was just kind of like off in his own world or something.
Yeah, I know you like, because I texted you. You didn't tell me that it happened, and I set that one up, I believe.
Yeah, you did.
And so I just hit you up saying, hey, did the Tate thing go? And then you just called me. You didn't even text back. You just called.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, what happened to this guy?
Yeah, he was all over the map.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get a straight answer out of him, and he was just like just spacing off, and I'd ask a question, and that I'd pause to get his answer, and then he goes, "Are you still there?" I was like, "Yeah, Jeff, I'm here. I just asked it." Whoa, oh, sorry.
Yeah. He was texting.
Whatever. But it was not a good interview.
No, it was definitely one of the one of the lesser ones, to say the least. I listened to it and I was like, "Woof."
Yeah, I tried. I asked questions.
Wasn't you.
I was trying to engage him in a conversation, and he just like totally like.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't you. I don't know if he realized who you were and just wasn't going to give you anything because of the real Jeff Tate stuff, or yeah, I don't know, because as you remember, we did have an issue with that before.
Absolutely.
So I was a little surprised when, the way that, and I'll share some back end stuff. Why not? The interview offer came in from a different source than we always have worked with Jeff.
Okay.
And the source that we worked with Jeff last told me no, as you remember, because he didn't like my review of the first Mindcrime record.
Right.
He said that my review was too harsh and therefore we couldn't interview Jeff. So I got approached by somebody else about doing an interview with Jeff. And I was like, yeah, we'll do that. And I was like, well, let's see. Because I honestly thought it would get forwarded to Jeff Albright and then he would clamp it. But, I was like, I'll take a shot, And then he was like, yeah, it said Tuesday at whatever time or, whatever. I don't remember when it was. But, and I was like, okay, good. But maybe, just maybe, he had a case of the ass about us.
I didn't get that vibe. I just kind of grabbed that he just was either disinterested or he was just spaced off somewhere.
Yeah, busy with other things and trying to wedge it in or something.
Yeah, just completely disinterested. It's just like, that's just another one of these interviews. Whatever.
Yeah, which is too bad because record's actually fairly good. I like it, personally. I know you probably don't, but I like it.
Sure.
It's not bad.
All right. Well, getting back to interviews, you interviewed Jimmy today.
Yeah, I interviewed Jimmy Bauer, who is he's the drummer in Down, and I think he plays the guitars in both Superjoint and I Hate God, which I was interviewing him for I Hate God because I don't know. I'm sure you know nothing of that band.
Well, I the only thing that I remember about them is prior to starting the CMS.
Yeah,
I did the normal format for V-Rock.
Right.
And I Hate God was on the playlist. So I know that they've been around for 20 plus years.
Right.
But, I don't know a lot about them on a personality basis.
Sure.
But they've been around a while.
Yeah, they're in the same vein as Down or COC or Crowbar or any of those bands from New Orleans. Same style of music, a little heavier vocal.
Mm-hmm.
But the big news with them is that they're doing this tour this month now. It's October. They're doing a tour this month, and Randy, the singer from Lamb of God, is going to step in for their singer because their singer. He kept saying his singer was sick, but you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
He's strung out and trying to get clean.
Sure.
So they were doing this. They're doing a series of interviews to promote this tour with Randy Blythe singing for them. So I was like, you know what, that's pretty good. That's good enough to where, even though it's sort of outside of our format a little bit, that would be good for inside the CMS studio.
Sure.
It's relevant and it's news and, and we do play Down. So I was like, well, since we played Down, I could maybe get off a couple of questions of Down.
Okay.
So I did. As everybody is aware, and people love to give me the Z's about it and whatever. I don't care. We do talk a lot about racism and being offended and PC and whatnot. And it's no secret at all that I find anybody that's offended by words to be a monumental fucking cocksucking pussy. I fucking find you to be offensive. That's how I honestly feel. So since Jimmy is obviously tight with Phil, he's in 2 bands with Phil, I figured I would ask him about the Anselmo stuff from a couple of months ago. And, I didn't even get to ask the question I wanted to because Jimmy just went off. But the question I was leading to was, did people try to get to him and tell him he needed to distance himself from Phil, because of the comments? because what I really wanted to ask was, did this test your friendship and your loyalty to this guy? That was my big question I wanted to ask, but I never got there. Because as you'll hear, he had plenty to say.
All right.
About people hammering on Phil. He fucking smokes Rob Flynn in this thing. He talks about, how people, I brought it up. The way I brought it up, as you'll hear, is I positioned it the way I feel, that people are just a bunch of pussies looking to be outraged about something.
Mm-hmm.
And as you'll see, Jimmy very much agreed with me.
All right. Let's get into this, and we'll stop it along the way and make commentary.
Okay.
So this is Jimmy Bauer of Down and Superjoint.
Yep.
And I Hate God.
Right. And this is from earlier today.
Okay. Here we go.
Now, Jimmy, let me ask you a question or two about Down. No secret, the last, we'll say 6 months or however long it was, crazy time with the whole Philip, the alleged racism thing, and I'll just tell you up front.
It was blatant racism, Mr. Reagan. It was blatant racism. It wasn't alleged. It wasn't alleged. You know full and well what he was doing.
Did I misspeak? It's a bunch of horse shit. I think everybody's being a bunch of PC pussies. And
bigot, racist, bigot, xenophobe, racist, homophobe. What else can I throw in there?
I don't know, fascist.
Fascist.
I agree with you, man.
They're just inventing outrage. They're
reinventing the steel. Oh, no, it's a different band.
A different band.
All right.
Because they need to complain about something. That's my own personal take. Sounds like it's yours as well. For you that's in the environment, you certainly know Philip. How much of this outrage do you feel was legitimate, if any, versus being a creation of people just looking for a reason to tear that guy down, because they always are looking for a reason to tear him down?
All right. Answer?
Well, I know the answer.
All right. So here's the answer.
All right.
Bigot, racist, homophobe.
Faggot.
I mean, I don't deny that what he did was wrong, but it's a good person. He was fucked up, man. And just I just think the way that it was handled and the way that.
So what is he saying? He was fucked up.
He was drunk.
All right.
He did something dumb because he was drunk.
All right, so he just did it because he was under the influence of something.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I got it.
You didn't have social media 10, 15 years ago, and you really have to understand the sense of humor that we have, man. It's just like massively dark, Right.
I don't find that funny at all, pal. I'm going to put on blackface and say, feels good to finally be a nigga. Oh, wait a minute. So somebody already did that.
Yeah. Hey, you're kicked out of my college, friend.
And, it's like, who doesn't like jokes of every sort of thing or whatever, I'm not, I'm not Phil, but I know Phil. He's my brother, man. And, and it was just an unfortunate thing that happened. And now you have fucking social media, where everybody's a, keyboard warrior.
Right.
It just, fucking Rob Flynn didn't help at all. It's like, I don't even listen to that kind of music, man. So it's just like this dude spouting off shit. And it's just like, wow, man. It's like, didn't y'all tour, they toured with Pantera back in the day, probably 50% of the reason why they have any success at all. It's just fuck. It's that old saying, man, when you're down, people are going to kick you, man. And, and Phil is not what everybody says he is, and I think a lot of people know that, but then you have a lot of other people that are fucking bored and are just going to stir shit because that's what they do,
Sure.
Yeah. Kick them when they're up. Kick them when they're down. Kick them when kick them all around.
Boy, he doesn't like Rob Flynn, does he?
No, he says that he didn't help. He didn't help the situation. I don't listen to that kind of music anyway, so fuck that guy.
Yeah, so fuck him.
Yeah.
And you know, it's an interesting thing. I've known Phil for a very long time, basically since before Cowboys came out. I used to go see him at the Omni and the Stone when they rolled through San Francisco when I lived out there. So I've known him for a long, long time. And I mean,
I think you could be part of a documentary, Chris.
Yeah, maybe I could.
Probably with your experience and, you know, your firsthand experience at seeing these guys early in the day.
Yeah.
I bet you're interview worthy.
Maybe I could be featured on a documentary about thrash metal from San Francisco.
Holy shit. That's a great idea. I'm going to pass that on to somebody.
That would be great, dude.
I'm going to give them your number too.
Nice. I'd like to be on it. Phil never gets any credit for some of the good shit that he does. You know, as an example, I had a friend who has a little kid that's a big Pantera. He's learning Pantera. You know, he's like 10 years old. And I just asked Phil at a show, at one of his solo shows, if he would cut him a little video message. And Phil was like, yeah, sure, give me your phone. And he's like, what's his name? And, and Phil cut like a personalized message to this kid. Now, Phil doesn't have to do that at this point in his career. He'd be like, dude, stop fucking with me, But
yeah, right.
That's just who that guy is. But I don't know. I've always thought that, especially after the whole Dimebag thing, and I don't want to re-talk about all that nonsense, but I just think the guy has always gotten a bad rap.
Oh, it's nonsense when somebody gets killed on stage? Are you kidding me?
Well, the nonsense is what followed. Certainly not Dimebag, but...
Yeah, I think you're a little insensitive, Chris.
Oh, I am a lot insensitive.
You're very jaded. I'm sorry.
I am. I'm very insensitive when it comes to people whining the blues about every little fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am. For a guy that really, really, more than anybody that I can point at and say, yeah, this guy has put more into metal than anybody of all different kinds, carrying, bringing up bands that were far smaller than him when Pantera was huge, stuff like that. He's done a lot for metal to get such shit handed to him, when he does something wrong.
He's a real intense person, man, and intense people that are in the public view always get scrutinized,
Right.
and he's just a victim of that, and the cool thing about Phil is, he's like, he doesn't give a fat fuck,
Right.
Which is,
hey, can you say that on radio?
It's funny, dude, and I'm sure you do this too. At the beginning of the interviews, you tell people that it's okay to swear.
Yeah, of course. We always said that. It's uncensored. Go ahead and just say whatever's on your mind.
Jackal is really questioning if Pantera was huge.
What are you kidding me? They invented a genre.
Pantera was massive. Massive.
They were the breakout band that allowed, bands like, and as much as it pains me to say it, that the hybrid rap rock to thrive.
Yeah, they did open the door.
They did
stuff, but Pantera was a giant band.
They forged their own, their own genre in metal.
Yeah, I guess Jackal doesn't remember them selling out Blossom year after year after year.
Cowboys from Hell was a big breakout album for that really intense hard rock.
Yeah, and Vulgar, Jesus Christ, that album was giant.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's see what Jimmy has to say here.
All right,
so he's like they can say what they want and all this, and he just doesn't really read into it that much, He's, like you said, he's a real down to earth guy. He likes, helping out people. I mean, he lives and breathes fucking music just like most of us,
Right.
And I don't think people realize is how fucking bummed out and how really hard he took all the negativity. that hasn't really been talked about. And, you know, and it's like, you know, just talking to him on the phone and, you know, just, you know, even amongst friends, just being, you know, real, just kind of down and out about it, you know, and we're sitting, you know, we're trying to, you know, just, you know, oh, dude, it'll be, you know, it's going to be all right and everything like that, you know, and
right.
what friends do, you know, and yeah, it really sucked, man, because I don't think he deserved all that, you know, because, you know, you got to take what he did as a grain of salt, you know. He's an extreme dude. Yeah, to me, I mean, look at bands like when we were growing up, you wrote lyrics to piss people off.
Right.
You know, you played shows, you tried to piss people off. And now it's like if you try and piss people off, they, you know, it's like, well, nah, you know, they're all fucking PC. I don't even know what happened.
Well, there you go. That's a very CMS attitude.
Hell yes, it is.
But you know, we're crusty old dinosaurs thinking that way. You know, we're not with the new way of thinking about things.
No, well, we'll address that too.
What happened?
Yeah, I love Jimmy. I've known Jimmy for a lot of years, and he's a straight up guy, man. He's fun.
Sure.
Literally, what happened? You know, it's like.
Yeah, it's sad.
I don't
is what
get
it
it,
is.
man.
It's really sad that, you know, and you know, I'm 47. I'm not sure how old you are, but I think you're in that zone.
I'm 48.
Yeah, so you're right there.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I blame our generation, the people that are our age, because we raised a bunch of fucking pussies. That's real.
What? What are you saying, Chris?
Saying just
A
that.
bunch of fucking pussies?
We did.
Don't you realize how that hurts?
Apparently not, because I said it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rethink my relationship with you.
Are you sure you don't want to do a show without me now? What it is.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't know if it's because it's election year or, you know, a lot of these college kids just, they have no idea, dude.
I know.
You know, and it's I'm not saying all of them, but, you know,
Sure.
To me, it's reminiscent of, like, you know, like I told this story the other day. I Hate God went to go play it. We were booked in '94 to play Gilman's.
Okay.
You know, and Gilman's was like, you know, DPC joint, you know?
Right.
And we get a phone call like a couple days before, and they're like, you know, y'all can't play. And, you know, I was like, why? You know, why? Why not? You know, and they don't like the name of your band. They don't like a couple of your song names and everything. And I'm like, well, then punk rock's a bunch of bullshit then.
Right.
You know? It's like,
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Bullshit.
You give other people a pass, but for us, no way.
That's right.
You're not wearing a white wristband.
Yeah.
You don't get a pass.
Yeah, you don't get in here, pal.
Yeah.
Don't care if you say all access.
Exactly.
motherfuckers, you know, go against everything, you know, but have rules.
Right.
I don't know. It's just I think you summed it up, man. It's sad, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, because I mean, heavy music is nothing but a comic book, and the lyrics are the little bubbles where people talk, you know,
right.
with blank spaces. With blank spaces, you open it and you're in a fantasy world. It's not to be taken literal, you know.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and it's true, you know. I mean, living inside of a record is not life.
Right.
You know?
Right. And
and I think
the ironic thing about it is, for you guys meaning musicians, everything you say is now scrutinized like crazy. But it's just fine if whatever movie company wants to make a remake of American History X. That's okay. That's not racist, or that's not upsetting of people or anything like that. But God forbid you have lyrics or say something goofy on stage or something. You're held to just a crazy different standard.
Yeah, I mean, down here you got people that want to tear down statues and shit because they...
Yeah, I'm totally against that. It's just that's just stupid. That just is recognized as a part of history. It doesn't mean it's racist. It's just, it existed. That's what this country was founded or built on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a statue of General Lee. Well, yeah, he was part of American history. Well, that's racist, man.
Yeah, man.
That's dumb.
It is dumb.
Because they were erected. The people that the statues are or whatever,
right?
Lived during the time of slavery. It's like, dude, you weren't a slave. Your mom wasn't a slave. Your dad wasn't a slave. It's 2016.
Right.
If anything, that statue is there to teach people the good old famous saying, be careful. If you don't know history, it will repeat itself.
Right. Certainly.
And you got these dumb college kids that want to tear it down because they think they're going to change the world. You ain't going to change shit, man. You're not going to change a damn thing. I hate to tell you. Yep. It's just music. Music is, music, to me, it's like taking a vitamin every day. You listen to music because it makes you feel good.
Right.
And
only if you're a racist.
Yeah, bigot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's white supremacist music you're playing there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Don't look into it any more than that, man.
Yep. I'm with you, man.
Wow. Well, there's a guy there. Obviously, he's not a household name. And, what has this guy got to lose?
No, nothing. But I just appreciate that he was pretty stand up.
Well, sure.
I mean, we weren't even talking about down. We were talking about, I hate God. I just threw it in there, and he was more than willing. I think because he knew me, he was probably like, okay, cool, whatever. But, he didn't hold back. That's for damn sure.
Well, it's good stuff. Well, again, I think in the undercurrent, I think a lot of people are thinking this, and they get a little upset that things are going the way that they are, but they can't really... Maybe they feel a little powerless to say or do anything about it.
Yeah, well, they're pussies.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. They're afraid. If you're afraid, then you're a puss.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, you can't let changes that you don't want to happen because you're too afraid to say, nah, that's fucking bullshit.
Sure. Well, I don't want to rock the boat, so I'll just let it be.
Somebody might call me a name next.
Yeah.
It's okay if they call you guys racist because you're those radio guys, but I'm just a guy.
Right.
Fuck off. Be a man, you pussy.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff from Jimmy.
So there you go, Jimmy Bauer checking in.
All right. Well, I need a short break. Let's play one more Down song. Let's play something from Down 2.
Okay.
Go ahead and pick it.
Oh, from Down 2?
Yes.
The only thing that's coming to mind is Lysergic, but I don't want to play that one. What's the second track?
There's something.
Yeah, that's good. There's something. Yeah, that's good.
It's a ABBA cover. There's something going on. What's that? Falstog?
Yeah, it's not an ABBA cover.
All right. I need a short break. Go grab a drink, and we'll be right back. Here's some Down from Down 2. And this is, what the hell is this called? This is...
There's something going on.
Okay. Here it is. It's Down exclusively here.
On your classic metal show.
This is Jimmy Bauer from Down, and you're listening to the Classic Metal Show.